Hello and welcome to VicKart. I'm your host Victor, and today we're kicking off this channel with a new racing series. Since I'm still quite new to sim racing and inexperienced, I decided recently to start messing around with the GT4 class in Automobilista 2. I've decided I quite like those cars, but instead of just doing a plain race like what you would normally see in Automobilista, I decided to do a multi-class race similar to the Michelin Pilot Sport Challenge here in the United States. The only thing is, we don't really have any front-wheel drive touring cars in Automobilista 2 outside of the JCW Mini Challenge. So Mini Cooper, but they are front-wheel drive, they're turbocharged, and they're actually quite a bit of fun to drive as well. So, this is the championship in its current form. I've decided to use the current Michelin Pilot Sport Challenge schedule, but amend it since there's quite a few of those tracks that are not in Automobilista 2 in one form or another. So, each of these consists of a 30-minute practice session, a 15-minute qualifying session, and then a 1-hour race plus 1 lap. This is at double time to kind of simulate what would actually be an actual time frame for the Pilot Sport Challenge. It's usually about 2 hours. So this goes as follows. So we have the Daytona sports car course for the Rolex 24 Daytona. And then we have the 12 hours of Sebring, which we don't have, so I decided to go with Adelaide. Sebring is almost like a street track. There's a lot of different styles of concrete, different surfaces, a lot of bumpiness, so I feel something along the lines of Adelaide would really highlight something similar to that. After that is the Hyundai Monterey Sports Car Championship, at Laguna Seca, which we have here. Then there's the Lexus Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio, which I, for whatever reason, put it at Long Beach. Long Beach might be a better substitute for Adelaide, but I've already started this, and I'm not going to redo it. After that is going to be the 6 hours of Glen, and I believe this one is a 2-hour race, so that'll be fun. After that is the Chevrolet Grand Prix at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, which we don't have, but there's a similar undulating kind of course structure at Cascaval. I really like that track. After that is Lime Rock, which again we don't have, so I picked another old school kind of thin track, Donington. And then the IMSA Fast Lane Sports Car Weekend at Road America, which obviously we have. I believe this one is also a 2-hour race. And then we have VIR, Virginia is for racing lovers. And then Petit Le Mans, which we do not have, Road Atlanta. So I instead went with Indianapolis and Bathurst. So again, GT4, Mini JCW, there is a 28 car grid. There are 18 GT4s and 10 Minis. The scoring is as follows. It's the stock feature race, so 30 for first, down to 20th, so really only 3 of the minis get points, but we're not caring about the minis. Sorry, Mini Coopers. So the first round was in Daytona. Let's get to that. So my car that I chose is the McLaren 570S. I'm trying to gear up to get to the Corvette GTE. That's kind of what I want to go up to. So I'm trying mid-engine rear-wheel drive vehicles that are not Porsches, although I do love Porsches. Okay, so we're gonna hit all here. Coming into turn 1, I start off in P16, the let me change the audio real quick here. There. So the McLaren isn't great at Daytona. Daytona, as you might well know, has a lot of long straights, and the McLaren is actually quite draggy in the straights, but it makes it up in the corners. But I wasn't able to qualify well. I was consistently 5 to 7 tenths away from the guys up at the top. But as you can see, I am gaining on most of the cars in the middle section here. Whoa! Too wide. Those cones go flying. Try and get a good exit onto NASCAR 1. Is this NASCAR 1 or NASCAR 2? I forget. Pretty sure it's NASCAR 1. As you can see, they just keep pulling away from me. Even in 6th gear. And then hit the braking marks. The brakes aren't quite as good on the McLaren either, I feel. It does have a mid-engine rear-wheel drive layout, so it does have a tendency to get a little squirrely if you go on the brakes too hard. It wants to end over end on itself. So started P16, within 1 lap I'm at P13. This is one of my first, oh yeah, there goes the AMGs. The AMGs are incredibly quick down the straights. They're a bit of a boat in the corners. Trying to give him some space there. See if I can go on the inside. Let him know I'm still there. Let him go. I really like this livery on the McLaren. It's a classic red and or classic orange and blue McLaren design. And I'm just trying to stay with this pack ahead. Hopefully not fight too hard with the AMG. He lets me go. I think he's gonna try and cut down the inside here. I don't think I was... Yeah, I was not defensive enough. So he gets the inside, come back over. Surprisingly, the Ginetta is a bit quicker on the straights than the McLaren, even though the Ginetta is down on power. I think it's just less draggy. I don't know, this Ramos fella in 15th driving the Ginetta, I believe he does quite well for himself in this race. So still down, P14. Trying to keep up with the AMG. You can see that the BMWs and the AMGs and the Camaros all have such a big speed advantage. As we cross the line into lap 3. Started braking a little early. Can brake much later. Catch a little slide there. The 570 is actually pretty good at just barely braking traction enough to slide a bit, and having it being maintainable with that weight over the wheels. It doesn't tend to, if you're just sliding through a corner, snap oversteer, which is nice. It's a bit of a controlled slide, and I find that trying to use that whenever you can. Obviously, you don't want to do that too much in an hour-long race because it'll eat up your tires. We are on accelerated fuel and tire use, and there is a mandatory pit stop. Usually around the 30-minute or so mark is when people start pulling up to the pits. And there's Ramos. And with the draft, yeah, we are a bit quicker. Foresti and Fisher behind us are both McLarens. Yeah, the pack's starting to really spread out a little bit here. Up at the front, though, you can see that they're all within 2 to 3 tenths of each other. I know Yost, Salas, Miller, and King are really the ones that really slugged it out here till the end. Quite competitive. Then there's a big accident, and we avoid the pileup here and jump, was it 4 spots? So, benefit of not being too far ahead, I guess. Benefit of being a little bit slower is we're close enough to get in that big pile up there at turn 1. That inside concrete can really just jump out at you, apparently. I did start off the AI at 95. And the aggressiveness at medium. I've since then turned those up to 100 and high. Just on courses that aren't Daytona, where there's just an obvious speed disadvantage that the McLaren has. On tighter road style courses, the McLaren is quite quick. Go down to the boss stop, aka the Le Mans chicane. Well, no one's gonna call it that. That is such a tricky brake section with the McLaren, because you go from 6th down to 3rd, and you have to do it pretty quick because you can't turn in until you're off the brakes. Otherwise, it'll go end over end. It's quite tricky to get right. As a newbie, and I say newbie, I've had on again, off again relationships with sim driving. I still find it difficult to switch my fuel settings from qualifying, which is anywhere between 5 to 10 laps, and a full fuel load, which is around 20 to 30 laps, depending on the track. So hopefully I've been really trying to remind myself. Up here at a pretty respectable P10. We'll get into turn, is this turn 5 or turn 4? And then a NASCAR 1. You see the Jetta and the AMG are going at it back there. Yeah, we did end up passing those BMWs, didn't we? The M4 is also a pretty great car to drive. My 3 favorites in the class are the M4, the McLaren, obviously, being my favorite kind of squirrely boy, and then the Camaro, honestly. I would think it'd be more of a boat, but I think the AMG handles a bit worse. And the McLaren, the Camaro is just fun to slide around and has good power, and it corners pretty well. See, my last lap was a 156, and the leader's last lap was a 154. Pretty effortless. We are consistently losing time on the straights, and there goes the AMG right in front of us. And the other AMG with the Jetta right there, trying not to bust my nose. Left the door open a little too wide there for the Jetta, apparently. See if I can come back on one of the AMGs. Thankfully he knows I'm there, gives me the space. But they've got quite good traction out of the corner for these longer runs. Oh, he just about loses it. So the AI do make mistakes. I do enjoy Automobilista 2 for the AI and you can make your own career championships and everything. It's quite a good single player if you have the creativity. Here, me and the Ginetta lock wheels, and I go a little wide. Let's see if we can come back at him. That M4 is trying to get the side draft, which has been implemented on, I believe, most cars here in Automobilista 2. Yeah, see, got a bit of overspeed, slowing up, and I go wide, slow up a little bit more, give him the space, get off the accelerator a little bit, and then get back on. I had to get off the brakes, otherwise it would have been bad. Would have ended up me flipping end over end and into the wall at the Le Mans chicane. Even though nobody calls it that, it's just the bus stop. Yeah, so Ramos and I are basically the same on power, and hopefully we're able to maybe help each other slingshot. It's probably not going to end up that way. Gotta love using that little divot there. Right by the pit exit. Kind of notorious for people getting a little too much of that curb. I was not driving defensive enough, I don't think, with that Ginetta. M4 has a moment, misses traction a little bit. Oh, it was a clumsy braking zone. Try and give him some space on the exit. He's just going to come right back at me. He's going to outbrake me into the chicane again. Luckily this time we get the braking correct. Ginetta gets us back for last lap. I do quite enjoy the look of the Ginetta. It's not something that me being an American I'm used to. They're basically just Miatas, from what I can tell. Although they do come in souped up varieties, for sure. They are a bit bigger, I believe. At least the GT4 is. Clumsy in the braking zone again. Get a little sideways when the Ginetta gets a little close. Yeah, Ramos is he's good at keeping it close, for sure. The Ginetta's a bit more nimble than the M4. I believe it's the most nimble out of all the GT4s. There's a good mix. I don't think there's any one terrible car in the class. So at this point, we are 15 seconds off the lead. There's about 0.6 between me and Scott behind. And the gap opens up to from 1 second to 2 seconds into the chicane. I think I'm doing something incorrectly there because I don't feel like I get as much traction, and that might have been my issue. That I'm not able to get as much traction out of the bus stop. Controlled slide into turn 1. Turns 2 and 3. Into the International Horseshoe. Nice and wide. Don't touch the inside curb there, it will kill you. You can touch the curb there, just don't touch the grass. I usually try and start braking before the Rolex barrier there to get slowed down enough to turn in. What a NASCAR 1. I also don't think I get as good as traction as I probably could in a NASCAR 1. Three tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths. Oh man. Just 1, 2, 3. And go a little wide. I think I might need to slow down a little bit getting into the bus stop if we're coming out there. I always love watching the 24 of Daytona every year. Kind of starts the year off with races just right. Oh, and there's the John Cooper Works Minis coming out of the pits. They're able to do about 9 or so laps at Daytona, where you're basically flat out half the lap. So now we've got traffic in the mix. What's going to happen? Are we going to get boxed in? No, he moves to the outside. Thank you for blocking for me. I appreciate it. This is the beauty of multi-class racing. Trying to use the other cars defensively. But it goes both ways. See if I can stay in the slipstream. This mini here. They actually aren't too bad. I believe they have 260 horsepower, but the gearing on them is quite short, so they end up almost redlining on the straights here. Scott is right on my bumper. But we've been able to hold him off so far. So we have 3 minis ahead, the slipstream of which has really helped. We're actually gaining a little bit on Scott. That's how draggy and terrible. Ooh, so close to contact. End up not touching. That's the thing I love about having a different class with GT4s, is you don't get too bored or stuck in a rut. There's almost always something going on about 20 minutes in. Take a little bit too much curb there. We walk away unscathed. do think I probably entered that turn a little early now that I look at it. Slowing down nice and easy, and then getting on the power early. Trying to be as smooth as I can on the exit. Trying not to slide into that corner. Yeah, Daytona's really not too bad on the tires, but you don't want to end up using too much of your tire and then relying on it too much, say, going into the bus stop. I know there's at least one accident from what I remember. This was last night though. I've slept on it since then. The gearing on the McLaren is very strange. It takes forever to get up into 6th, and there's another gear after that, and this is the shortest gearing that you can possibly have. Reverse is almost useless, especially here at Daytona where there isn't too many incredibly tight turns. I'm taking most turns in 2nd. Unless I overbrake, then I use 1st gear to compensate and help rotate the car a little bit more. Yeah, that was way too late. Lost traction there. Was able to control the skid, thankfully. Okay, got the car pointed. And we're staying 3 seconds ahead of Scott, so that traffic really did end up helping us. But now, we are off by our lonesome with no traffic to help us out. Lap 13, and we're already seeing people pit. Jost, I believe, drives a Camaro. Who else just jumped into the pits? I believe it was one of the AMGs. Yeah, Vitali. Out of the International Horseshoe, seeing if we can hunt down Boyer. In the meantime, Scott is within 2 seconds instead of 3 seconds that he was last lap. Try not to make any more mistakes. And turn 6, nice controlled slide. NASCAR 1, which they just ran Daytona last night, actually. Way wide there. I don't even think I got a track cutting warning for that. I just could not straighten that out. And I did gain time on Scott by doing that, so I should have gotten a warning for that. I have up to 5 warnings per race. And I try to not be cheeky with them, but I was a little bad at the end of this race. Spoiler alert. But we'll see that when we get to it. Taking plenty of curb at 2 and 3 down to the International Horseshoe. Which is a very fun overtaking possibility. Try and get some curb to help me rotate a little bit more. Stay, yep, got plenty of traction. Like, very late. I'm still over a second behind Boyer. I think I'm one of the last to pit here. So we gained about 3 positions due to people pitting. Much more controlled this time than last lap. And we're keeping the gap to Scott pretty consistent. I was pretty proud of this. If I remember correctly, we're still pretty good on fuel. There is Miller. He drives a red Porsche. So that's 4 positions we've gotten from pits. I do quite enjoy the GT3s and GT4s here in Automobilista, but Assetto Corsa Competizione does have a better selection. But ACC does not have classic Spa-Francorchamps or Adelaide 1988, so... Rise Studios does a fantastic job of making sure their tracks are accurate and highly detailed, and they're just a blast to race around. But you can tell the bias. Ooh, and I cook it! I cook it into the horseshoe, do a full 360, and we save it. We save it. I cannot believe. I know I lost it into the bus stop at least once, but I couldn't remember what happened. Oh man. So Salas, Hudson, and Gallo, and Manning all pit. So that gives King the lead. Yeah, King is basically the best Camaro. I think Manning's second best Camaro. Gallo is the number 1 AMG for sure. He's always up there. We haven't had, I don't think any of the BMWs are super competitive. Miller, I know, is probably the quickest Porsche. So I'm up in P5, but realistically we're actually about P7 or so, about 23 seconds off of King, who has legitimate leader pace. Ugh. Just something about the bus stop. Let me make sure I write that down. That I spun in the bus stop in my notes for this. And now I'm P1. I've been out here the longest. You can see Salas really did well with the undercut. He's less than 40 seconds behind me, and I'm in first right now. Ott, I believe, is a BMW. Yeah, so Salas and King. And then Miller will be up there. I think Young is one of the McLarens. Quite good on fuel, the McLarens. Surprisingly, with a twin-turbo V8. Just Mercedes powered it, I believe. I don't know what I was doing there. Okay, don't cook it too much. You can see that suspension loading up and wanting to just get out of here, man. This is lap 17. When do we come in? Do we come in this lap, or is it after this? I forget. Okay, we come in this lap. Since everyone else pitted. You can see all the dirt and debris on the tail. I love the little... This game looks fantastic. I do have automatic pit stops on, so that was not my slow driving into the pit stall, that was the computer. The replays don't show. I wonder if the mechanics are just user or client side. So we're refueling now. When the car gets lifted up, that's when we change tires. There goes Salas for the lead. All pit stops should only take about 40 seconds or so. Okay, so there's the tires. I'm up in the air. I don't think I have any damage to repair. If anything, it's just aero. And like I said, about 9 laps. That's when the minis start pitting. Okay. Now, let's not do anything stupid out of the pits. It's cold brakes, cold tires, sliding around. Couldn't get it slowed down. Let's see if I can. Okay, so we don't spin it or anything coming out, but rookie mistake. So now we gotta try and not drive too angry. Okay, hopefully that didn't show up, but I hadn't touched my mouse for a while. But as soon as it gets boring, something happens, and then we've also got the minis. So I lost about 2 positions there, about 10 or so seconds. So I was in front of Fisher, so that's where I should be had I not royally screwed the pooch. So we've got Scott, the BMW, then Foresti, Foresti is, I believe, one of McLaren's. And Ramos is the Ginetta. I really did not take turn 1 that well if the if the minis were able to close in on me that quick. See my new nose job that I got from the tires. Nice little tire print. I think we got some tidbit of aero damage here. So we'll probably be a little slower on the straights. Wow, imagine that. Yeah, if I remember correctly, we do have about 9% or something along those lines of aero damage in the front. As you can see after pit stops, Salas in the AMG way up at the top there. King's trying to chase him down, but Miller is right on King's tail. I believe that they fight quite a bit, and the AMG just has that little bit of grunt, a little bit more grunt and grit on the straights. That last lap was so bad. That 3:16.911. Whew. Really cutting the inside there, Victor. Jeez, man. Okay, yeah. Take 2 corners sloppily. Make sure the third one, you only take curb, okay? There we go. Out of the horseshoe we go. Still only doing a 156.778. Which is pretty respectable for one of these McLarens. Foresti did a 157. I believe Fisher's also a McLaren as well. He also did a 157 last lap. So about 5 seconds between me and Scott. Okay, let's see if we can avoid any more stupid spinouts. Yeah, I've been taking it nice and easy ever since then. You can tell, because I just lost this another second on Scott. using the carcass of the tire to slide a little bit since they are a bit newer. Now they're up to temp here. Down into the International Horseshoe we go. Gosh, 7 seconds between me and Scott now. That's nuts. So steadily losing time. P16 here. We can still see them in the distance, but they keep getting further and further away. 8 seconds. I love how race cars sound, man. Every race car. I don't care which one. It could be a Judd V12. It could be a twin turbo Mercedes V8 in the back of a McLaren. It could be a Civic Type R engine in the back of an Indy Lights car. Gap is still 8 seconds. Still adjusting to the arrow. Looks like Scott and Foresti. Yep, Scott caught up to Foresti and the other McLaren. Just trying to nail my exits at this point. See what I can make work. And the aero damage isn't bad, it's just 2 to 3 tenths on the straights every lap, but that does compound. Got 7 seconds here. I do enjoy how the crowd is much louder than the car noises. Yeah, there's a certain camera angle next to the lake here in the Daytona infield, and it just, every time you use that camera, all you hear is just these sloshing sounds. It is so funny. So we're gaining a little bit, slow and steady, about 7 tenths, or not 7 tenths, 7 seconds. There's only going to be about 30 laps because each lap is about 2 minutes. Let's check and see where we're at real quick. Oh, still 20 minutes left. Okay, so we're about 45 minutes in. Try to maximize my exits out of the bus stop. Gap's down to just 6 seconds now. Well, a little over 6, 6.5. Oh man. Really screw up the braking zone there. Get it turned back in. Try not to slide too much. Just impale a cone on my tow hook there. Gosh. Lost an extra about second and a half from that. Down. Yeah, that seems sloppy. I'm much better in a DPR or even an Indy car. It's just not quite enough aero where you can just kind of huck it in there like you can with a lot of other cars. Gap's down to about 6 seconds now. So we're slowly starting to reel him back in. Let's not kill a cone. There we go. Try not to overdrive the car. I was nearly a second quicker last lap. I about matched Fisher on pace, as well as Scott. Nearly half a second to all the other cars. Just the BMWs and the McLarens are just, for whatever reason, just incredibly slow here at Daytona. They just don't have that extra oomph. Chicane? I don't know what they call it. It's just the bus stop. You can call it the Lamar bus stop. It doesn't matter. Don't call it the chicane. I don't care if that's what it is. See that beautiful volumetric lighting? Absolutely destroying my graphics card right now. So beautiful. Saves on heating costs in the winter too. Okay, don't cook it. Don't cook it. There you go. Pretty good exit there. So now we're within about 4 seconds of Foresti. tires are good, but they're not in their prime. We've used a lot of that trying to maintain that 155, 156 lap average. I did a 155.6 that last lap. That's probably my fastest lap of the race so far. With terrible aero, that's costing me probably 1 to 2 tenths. Ooh. Probably broke a little late there. We're a good 16 seconds ahead of Ott in the BMW behind us. Oh no! Here come the minis. Are we able to get out ahead of them, or are they going to hold us up? Okay, got a little squirrely there. Lots of understeer into that corner, but if you just crank the wheel as far as you can, you'll be fine. You can take that flat out in the McLaren. Yeah, so we're basically in the slipstream of him now on the straights. But he did get a much better exit out of the bus stop. 155.2 last lap? That's crazy. How did I not see that? Means I should have about a 154.9 in this car. Ooh, don't lose it. A little bit of a wiggle. Oh, big dive. Oh, no, not the tires again. Oh. And then I spin it for good measure. Oh, rookie mistakes. Rookie mistakes. I'm gonna blame that one on my ADHD. Just not paying attention. Messed up the braking zone. That wasn't tires, that wasn't brakes, that was all me. And Jost is pitting for fuel with like 2 laps left? What is going on? How much time is left? Yeah, 5 minutes. There's like 2 laps left. And Vitali. That's crazy. You can see Foresti is just losing time to Fisher. Yeah, lost another good 10 seconds from that little off-track excursion. Nothing like rallying in a McLaren 570S. That's one thing I don't like about McLaren is I don't like cars using numbers. That's it. Like, say the name of the car and then the number or something along those lines. I don't like this European 570, 620, 720, or 650, 720. Wait, are you naming cars or are you playing Tony Hawk? Like, I don't understand. Like, maybe it's like displacement or horsepower or something along those lines, but I much prefer, like, the McLaren Senna, even the Ferrari, like, F40 and F50, those were for anniversaries. I much prefer when a car has an actual name and not just a number, because it makes all the McLarens kind of feel the same. Now I have even more aero damage, so I'm even slower on the straights. Lots of pops. Come on, Victor, don't lose it. Lap 30. I would do nighttime races, but the minis actually don't have headlights. It's kind of strange. I don't know why they don't. Maybe it's because they bang wheels too much. They don't race at night, probably, over in the UK. I know the TCRs and the GT4s typically don't do that either here in the States. But it does make it weird if it does rain. Although they're really not going to come up behind you in the rain. Would suck to drive against other minis, but passing them's easy in the rain. So even with busted aero, I'm still quicker than Foresti. And I cook my braking. I know I'm not going to make it, so I slow down. I realize, hey, that's only my first or second track cut penalty. And I start thinking, how many laps do I have left? And so for that reason, what I actually get at the end of this session is not what I consider me actually getting. Sure my monitor doesn't turn off here. And we're still 14 seconds ahead of Ott. Only 5 seconds away from Foresti. Oh no. Yeah, I'm just like, no. We're just gonna gun it. See if it disqualifies me. It didn't. It just gave me a warning. And so I passed first even though I shouldn't have. And then I've still got like overspeed. So I'm like, okay. I thought it was the last lap. That doesn't excuse it, but... See, I'm still stuck going only about 258 kilometers an hour. Due to just the drag from the aero damage and the fact that I'm just down on power in one of these things. Here's an actual overtake on something. You can see, my last lap time was a 1:49.08. That's the fastest lap of the race. We'll just call that P16. I think I'll get one or two more, maybe. If I hadn't screwed up twice, I would be around Scott. But you gotta live and learn. Learn from your mistakes. Yeah. And there's Fisher. I'm like, where's Scott? I could get him. Where is he? He's only a second up the road. So many of them ran out of fuel. I think that was King. Oh, two of them did run out of fuel. It was King and another one. Is it Woods? And then I go off. It's just total shit show. This is post race. Yeah, 64. Okay, there it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, we'll watch it real time. Wow. Oh no. Yeah, I started sliding in and then immediately caught it. Yeah, caught it. Oh. Correction, hit the curb. Bid on it. That's crazy. Oh, oh man. Ugh. All right, that was Daytona. Next time, join me for Adelaide. See you next time.